at the White House. It's Brian Kilmeade in Washington, D.C., fresh off Fox and Friends, and with my favorite chief of staff of the President of the United States, General John Kelly.
Hey,
General,
Brian.
Great to see you in person.
Yeah.
All right.
How you doing?
I know you're a very busy guy, but you were smiling. It's hard for me not to notice, even though you always have a great game face. You feel pretty good about last night's speech.
I thought it was terrific. I mean, the team worked with the president. He's very involved in putting his material together. He rehearsed it, but most importantly, it was his speech. And believe me, everything he says, even though there are help, he gets help from speechwriters, it becomes him. He's very involved in it. It was a great speech.
You're close to signing off on a 2-year budget.
I think so. Yep.
Are you close when it comes to some type of, the president put out his 4 pillars? You're all over that? So this is what he wants?
I would tell you,
where are we at with that?
I would tell you on the 4 pillars, I still think the other side is stunned at what the president rolled out. The fact that he is not only dealing with the 690,000 official DACA recipients, but he's extended that to people who would have qualified had they gotten off their, had they registered like they should have. So 1.8, 2.5 times the DACA size, and path to citizenship. That is, I know this, beyond comprehension to the Democrats. This solves DACA plus. And the rest of it, but there's no point in solving DACA plus unless you ensure that 4 or 5 years from now there's not another DACA.
Is it literally you served and you're waiting for the return volley? I heard the initial department head meetings with Steny Hoyer and Dick Durbin and the kids, Republican counterparts didn't go well. Nothing really happened.
Well, I mean, we the first couple.
You were there, right?
Sure. The first couple, a lot of chit-chat. But one of the things both sides have been asking for is, what is the president's plan?
Right.
So we gave it to them on Monday. This is the president's plan, the 4 pillars. DACA, which I think, again, is beyond their dreams in terms of the number of people we're going to include. The fact that, yes, we're going to do away with chain migration or family, but no one's going to get hurt by that. There's about 4 million people in the pipeline. They'll still come in. We're still going to take in 1.1 million immigrants. It's been misreported. We're going to cut it in half. We're not.
But are you guys going to talk this out? I mean, you sound reasonable. There's some things that are reasonable.
It's on the table.
So
now we have this thing in the U.S. government called the legislature, Congress, and the White House. We have given the legislature, the Congress,
I hear you,
where the president is. Now it's up to them, men and women of goodwill, to sit down. But that first pillar about the number of people that will be included and a path to citizenship, I still think has got the Democrats breathing hard. Do you,
as we look at this whole thought about the memo, the president yesterday does not want to overwhelm the State of the Union speech, but he says he told somebody, one of the congressmen, it's 100%. I'm going to sign off to release this memo that Devin Nunes's Intelligence Committee produced out of the House that will show some disturbing information about what went into the investigation on Hillary Clinton on down to what went into the background on him. Rod Rosenstein and the FBI Director Wray don't want you to release the memo, will you guys?
The memo, 4 pages, came over day before yesterday.
Right.
The unique thing about all of this, frankly, is in every other case that I can remember in my lifetime where a president was in some kind of trouble, the president, the White House attempted to not release things, whether it was Iran-Contra, but certainly things like the Nixon years. This president has said from the beginning, and certainly since I've been the chief of staff for 6 months now, I want everything out. I want this thing. I want the American people, A, to know the truth, and B, that the investigators and whatnot have everything. It's really unique in that we've leaned so far forward to get this out. Now, as far as the memo goes, the memo came over. We've got our folks our national security lawyers in the White House that work for me, work for the president. They're slicing and dicing it, looking at it so that we know what it means and what it understands.
Did you see it?
I did.
What do you think?
It'll be released here pretty quick, I think, and the whole world can see it.
Do you think that what changes the next day after? Do you think things change the next day after? You think?
Again, I'll let all the experts decide that when it's released. But this president, again, it's so unique, Brian, that he wants everything out so the American people can make up their own minds. And if there's people to be held accountable, then so be it. Remember also, another document that will come out sooner rather than later will be the DOJ, Department of Justice's IG report. That'll be kind of an addition to what Devin Nunes and his folks have discovered.
When I'm going to play the soundbite now, when General Perkins, a 4-star general now over at the Pentagon, heard about this, he's head of recruiting. He said, "I want to come on your show and straighten it out." This is a high school teacher addressing out in California, El Rancho High School. This is a teacher talking about the military. Cut over
We got a bunch of dumb over there. Think about the people who you know are over there. Your freaking stupid Uncle Louie or whatever. They're dumb. They're not like high-level thinkers. They're not academic people. They're not intellectual people. They're the freaking lowest of our low. Not morally. You know, I'm not saying they make bad moral decisions. Just they're not talented people.
Says the military a bunch of dumb blanks. They're not high-level thinkers. They're not academics. They're the lowest of the low. They are not talented people. What is your reaction to that, knowing that he's teaching a bunch of 17-year-olds this?
Well, I think the guy ought to go to hell. I just hope he enjoys the liberties and the lifestyle that we have fought for.
I'm not sure you can, but I know what you mean. I just had to share that with you, General, because it's caused outrage around the country. Yep. So thanks so much for your service. You look good. You're smiling. This is a pretty easy job you got.
Oh, it's easy. I mean, I get to work at 10:30, 11. I get home by 5. It's a great job.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
But first, you got to watch Fox and Friends, right?
All the time. Yeah, believe me, I watch Fox and Friends every day.
Thank you. God bless you, and God bless America.